Joe, I will say this. Jaquavius Bennett IV should go down as one of the better college quarterbacks that we've ever seen. And if you don't want to take that for what it's worth, natties, bitch. That's all he's got to say. Excuse my language, but it's just true.
So look, better is the right wording, not best. I am not going to sit here and concede best. I will never sit here and say that he is one of the best of all time in SEC quarterbacks to win national championships, quarterbacks in general in college football history. I will not concede that. Look, he has stepped up and done
Remember
his
what
job.
happened the last time you didn't concede something on this show? Somebody almost got 50.
You know what? I deserve that. Look, Stetson does his job. He seems to be a good leader.
He does more than just his job, Joe. Stop it.
So here's my pushback. I see a guy who, and we talked about it last week, he's the least pressured quarterback in the SEC, one of the least pressured quarterbacks in all of college football. It is easier. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is easier to accomplish the things that he has done when he is easily protected and he has an elite defense to lean on any other roster with deficiencies and in any other position group. Like if we pick a different SEC team, like Kentucky, for instance, that has weaker position groups than Georgia, but still a pretty good roster, they're not stiffing anywhere near the national championship. He is the right guy for the right circumstance.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I don't think that what does he do worse than Mac Jones?
I don't think he does anything worse.
You think he could be a first-round quarterback then?
No, absolutely not. He's stumpy.
Hear me,
he's got no arm.
I'm sorry, what?
He's got an average arm.
Then
in
Mac
terms
Jones
of arm talent.
Mac
Jones. I didn't think Mac Jones had a very good arm. I think that was an overvaluation.
You got to get the same for Tua. If you're gonna make,
Tua's a good athlete, though. Like
Stetson's a better athlete than Tua.
Not significantly. I don't think that. No, stop. Come on now. That was post-injury. Tua is a little bit clunkier than he was before that hip injury.
The man broke his hip.
He broke his hip, but I still think he's
from a guy that was 371 pounds.
I still think he's a better athlete than Stetson. I don't understand why everyone thinks that.
Did you see Stetson out there shaking? What?
I don't think Stetson is this game-breaking athlete that everyone acts like he is. He's not.
Nobody said he was game-breaking.
He's fine. He's a fine athlete with a fine arm. He's accurate.
You literally
He's consistent.
came in that Twitter Spaces last night and said the man runs a 4.58, and you're going to tell me he's not a better athlete than Tua, who couldn't crack a 4.8.
Wait, did Tua didn't even run a 40?
No, you know good and goddamn well that man ain't going to run
faster than a 4.8. He runs faster than a 4.8, but he dealt with a significant hip injury like an old man. But
man,
Look, but my main point with Stetson, though, is everything that I stand behind is that everything was set up perfectly for him to produce those results. But no quarterback could have asked for a better situation.
Well, I'm gonna push back.
Okay.
If you're gonna make that argument, now I agree he had a better offensive line than some would admit. Okay. However, then you got to make that same argument for Mac Jones, Tua, Burrow, Justin Fields. You're going to have to make that argument for everybody else. Here's the biggest thing you're going to have to make the argument for. The team that's had the most offensive linemen drafted over the last 7 years has been the University of Oklahoma. Then you got to take it from Baker Mayfield. You got to take it from Jalen Hurts. You got to take it from Kyler Murray.
I don't think that circumstantially works here because they've all done different things. Like
but my point is because you have good offensive line play and you're not getting pressure, brother. The pass that he threw across the middle in triple coverage on a dime to Brock Bowers is an NFL throw. You know that. That's a 25-yard throw across the middle. Stop.
It's a difficult throw, but like I feel like we spend too much time in general. Everybody spends too much time in general hyping up some of these plays that he's making. And I don't think that they are as astounding as the plays of the guys that you just mentioned. I was more impressed with what Baker did in his career, and Kyler and Justin Fields. Mac Jones is the only one I won't admit. I think that Mac Jones was extremely overdrafted, and we're going to see in a couple of years that Bill Belichick was just being a dumbass because he loves Alabama guys. That's what that was, and he was thinking 20 years in the past. That's exactly what that was. But I just, there needs to be proper context here. Like, I think it's, his achievements are significant.
Joe, he has over 700 yards in the last 2 games passing against what's supposed to be the elite college teams in the country.
Okay.
He has 10 touchdowns in 2 games against apparently the most elite. That's not that he has elite talent around him when he's got 700 passing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns.
Those are commendable stats. Those are fantastic stats. He had 2 great games.
Okay. Yes, he had Brock Bowers against Ohio State. He was throwing to A.D. Mitchell, who literally was picking up bubblegum wrappers in pregame before he said he was good to go.
One pushback. When they almost lost to Missouri, we can't sit here and pretend that they didn't almost lose to Missouri. And Missouri removed the run game for Georgia. That was part of it. That was part of what led to that. And they didn't put up that many points that game. Stetson didn't have his best game that game because he didn't have everything moving and operating at full efficiency and full power. When things weren't working perfectly for him, he didn't have his best game. And that kind of happened a little bit against Ohio State. He threw a pick. He wasn't perfect that game. I'm just saying that there are examples that we can pull from his career where everything's not flowing exactly to plan and a team properly schemed for him, and he didn't step up to the occasion. I feel like his best performances were because he was boosted by other guys.
Y'all keep shitting on the kid. That's all that this is.
I will keep crapping on him. I think one of the best players in Georgia history. He deserves to be recognized and remembered. And I give him a ton of credit for what he did. I'm a former preferred walk-on. I love the story. I think the story is fantastic, but
it has nothing to do with the. At some point, if you know
it does have something to do with the story because we get caught up with the story way too. So many people get caught up with that story with talking about it.
Forget the story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm gonna do next episode, next show? I'm gonna do a blind resume test. I'm just going to do a blind resume test, and I'm going to make you decide which quarterback's which.
Can the blind resume include who were his receivers?
No, it will just go stats, and it will show you who would you take? Would you take?
Okay, all right, let's do it.
And I will bet you lunch that you pick Stetson Bennett.
I'm willing to bet I'm going to be an asshole about it, but I'm more than happy to do it.
Okay. Well, you don't have to. Look, you don't have to give me lunch.
No. I'll get whatever. I will play to that bet, but I'm saying that I will not concede that I'm wrong.
Well, the one thing I think we will agree on is this. Before we move on, I don't think Georgia's going to win another national title next year. Okay, I mean, a three-peat, I just don't think it's going to happen. You agree with that?
Well, the thing that they're already being crowned next year's favorite, which is a little goofy. And my argument, what is so important for college football and winning national championships, I look at the teams that are always the most successful are the guys that have quarterbacks with experience and quarterbacks who have been there before. Stetson absolutely was a big reason why that they made it this far. It's because of the experience, and he looked composed and prepared for the situation as he was all season long. Give him a ton of credit for that. To start from scratch with Carson Beck or Brock Vandergriff, that's a total enigma. Massive question mark. They didn't go to the portal to get anybody. There's no stars that are going to fill that position. Talented players.
Well, they did go and get 2 pretty damn good wide receivers from the portal. I will give them that. They're getting some weapons now.
Yeah, and that's going to be helpful for both of these guys, but there's a good chance. I'm not saying it's a very high chance, but there's a possibility that both those guys could be total duds, and it could be a really frustrating season. It's very, very possible.
We'll see. I mean, the kid from Missouri's already done it in the SEC. I forget his name off the top of my. I think Jordan Lovett, something like that. So look, we'll see.